Impact is sponsored by
Open your door to home ownership with NCB Mortgage. Visit us online or at your nearest NCB branch to learn more today. Conditions apply.
This week on Impact, bold, fearless, expressive young people representing the generation born since 1982, the millennials. They are trying to make sense of the country's myriad political, economic, and social issues while charting their personal vision of the future. We'll examine their particular concerns about Jamaica at this time, as well as the challenges they face as they pursue their personal dreams. This is Impact. Stay with us.
This segment of Impact is brought to you by
Open your door to home ownership with NCB Mortgage. Visit us online or at your nearest NCB branch to learn more today. Conditions apply. Your key. Your home. Your accomplishment. Open the door to home ownership with a mortgage from NCB. NCB, we do mortgages.
We take our jobs seriously. That's why we go beyond the call of duty to ensure that Red Stripes products and employees are never at risk.
We are always there to protect and keep watch. We take pride knowing that we do our jobs well as couples.
Whether private property or public institution, we are always on guard to make sure that things go smoothly.
Home and Things have the things to beautify your home.
That's right. Your bedroom, your living room, your bathroom, and your kitchen too.
Because at Home and Things, that's just what we do.
So whether you're building or refurbishing, Home and Things has everything to beautify your home or office.
At the best prices, guaranteed.
Home and Things for quality.
Home and Things for price.
Home and Things for variety and everything nice.
Home and Things, Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road. For brands you know, brands you can trust. At the lowest prices,
guaranteed.
Save up to 60% on your light bill every month with Getty's Refrigeration. We sell, service, and install eco-friendly AC units for your home or office, even if you didn't buy it from us. Our expert technicians are available 24/7 to service any AC unit island-wide. Get cool and stay cool all year round. You can afford it. Call or visit us today. Getty's Refrigeration, first in service for over 65 years.
Welcome and thanks for joining us on Impact. Young people represent a significant sector of the Jamaican population. The majority want to be integrated into social and economic policy and political decision making. Their values, attitudes, and behavior may seem different from time to time from previous generations. They're bold, confident, and opinionated. They're often accused of having a sense of entitlement and a lack of civic mindedness. We're joined today by 4 members of this demographic. They're young Jamaicans. They're all pursuing higher education and competencies and skills, and they're looking forward to a future in the country of their birth. They are interested in current affairs, so we have invited them to share their perspectives on a range of issues in Jamaica today. Welcome to Impact, all of you.
Thank you.
Good. Let me do the personal introductions, beginning with a final year student in banking and finance at the University of the West Indies, Sherry Perrier. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you for having me.
We also have from the University of West Indies, Guild Vice President of Services and Special Projects. He's doing education at the university, Gareth Robotham.
Thanks for having me.
Good. And we have from the University of Technology a final year law student. He's also academic advisor to the UTech Students Union, Ivan Godfrey.
Thanks for having me.
Good. And we have from the University of Technology, economic and statistical analyst, big job that, Valdemar Wallace.
Good night, Jamaica, and thanks for having me.
Good. First, let me begin with you, Valdemar. Your parents got your name wrong. In the case of wrong spelling, Valdemar instead of the Russian Vladimir.
It's actually Valdemar, and I'd want to believe that my parents upgraded the name, you know. Yeah, back then Vladimir, but I like my name. It gives me a certain command before I speak to individuals. And I really, really loved it until I went to Russia the first time.
Yes.
And I was in immigration, and they saw my name, and they look up and they saw this black person standing looking at them smiling. And the supervisor sent for her supervisor. And then that supervisor sent for their supervisor. And the three of them stood there going through my passport, going through my visa, and I was just smiling and waving. And they said, "You're Valdemar." And I said, "Yes, Valdemar. We have upgraded." And then they laughed and let me through.
They couldn't come Vlad, because they're used to Vladimir.
Right.
Okay. So what do you do at UTech? What are you doing?
I work with Associate Professor Kofi Nkrumah. I do mainly statistics, you know, economics, student population, what's happening in Jamaica. I inform the university's decision by providing various information that they may need time to time to make timely decisions. So a part of my job is to keep in the know.
Where you studied?
I studied at the University of Technology, Jamaica as well.
Okay.
So I moved out of the master's program and straight into employment. So I don't want to believe that I did a good job as a student.
Yeah, you got a good degree.
Yes, I did. A very good degree.
Oh. What about you, Sherry? You're a final year student of banking and finance. Why banking and finance?
Well, I have a passion for finance, and I believe that...
You want to make money?
I want to make money, which is
a lot of it.
Everyone here would like to make money, yes.
I'm not so sure about him.
Well, we all want to make money, but I have another objective for my reason for studying banking and finance. I believe, or based on my experiences, the level of financial education here in Jamaica is somewhat lacking, and hence I decided to study banking and finance to make an impact in that area.
So ultimately, you want to work in the bank or own the bank?
Well, I'd like to gain experience first. Not necessarily in a bank, not because you're studying banking and finance means you're limited to just the bank.
Right.
There are also other financial institutions. You have the brokerage firms. You also have the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Company. You also have the FSC, the Bank of Jamaica. There are many different avenues that you can use the banking and finance degree.
Are you enjoying it, the studies?
I am enjoying the studies, and I'm very involved in other areas other than banking and finance, where I serve in the University of the West Indies Students Today Alumni Tomorrow, the Vice Chancellor's Ambassador Corps, where I am the Vice President of Communication and Internal Relations, the Public Relations Officer for the Careers Club, and former Vice President of the Young Investors Club, and I'm also a career peer advisor at the University of the West Indies.
And you're only 20 years old, right?
I'm only 20 years old. And I also work outside of school, where I am the associate producer of Talk Up Youth, Empress's youth program, where we address youth issues and solutions.
So how you manage your time to do all of that?
Well, it's all about time management and scheduling. Sometimes you feel that you're doing a lot, but at the same time, I believe that I have a purpose, and maybe I was somewhat selected to do this. And through mentorship, one of my mentors, Owen James. I also intern with him, where I present investment quiz on a personal note.
Where did you go to school?
I attended Campion College, and I'm now attending the University of the West Indies.
Okay. What about you, Gareth? You are the Vice President of the Guild of Services and Special Projects. Yes. What are you studying at UWI?
I'm studying Library and Information Technology.
Why library and information technology?
Okay, I believe that there's a deficit in terms of information for the Jamaican public, because based on information, persons can act in accordance. They can make informed decisions, right? So I want to enter that field, and I want to change that field. I want it to be dynamic. I want to allow persons to have information in front of them, access to information to make informed decisions, which will in turn impact on our policies, our government, and also our country and the region at large.
Well, we're doing that now. We all have our smartphones. We can Google anything we want to learn in 2 seconds.
Yes, that's true. But the thing is, Google is not credible. right? So you need
Oh,
an
it isn't?
authoritative source. Not all the sources on Google are credible, but
Okay.
you need that authoritative source to say this is the information, this is accurate, and this is what the government is doing, this is what the policies are, and therefore persons will act in accordance to.
Are you going to teach when you finish?
I may have, because I was teaching before, right? So
What did you teach?
I teach IT and social studies.
Okay.
Yeah, so
How old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
And how long were you teaching for?
I was in teaching for about 3 years.
Okay. Godfrey, Ivan Godfrey, what are you doing? What is your passion? What you're pursuing?
Well, I'm pursuing LLB at University of Technology.
Another lawyer?
Yes.
Don't you think we have enough of them?
I think
Too many of them?
No, I think that people.
Or we don't have enough good ones?
I don't want to say that and get myself in any trouble.
No,
but
I
I think that people deserve choices, and when there are choices out there and when there is competition, it pushes people to work that much harder and to do that much better in what they're doing. So I don't think there's too many lawyers, and that is what I want to do.
What drove you to do law?
What drove me to the law? Well, from a very young age, advocacy was always a passion of mine, always trying to get people out of difficult situations.
Oh, you can chat good.
Yes, I can chat good. And it seemed like a natural progression from where I was, being the deputy head boy at Cornell College, as well as being in other leadership posts.
So after you complete the law degree, what aspect of the law do you want to study?
I am not extremely certain
Yes.
what area of law I'd like to study, but as a lawyer, you can study different areas of law simultaneously.
Are you enjoying the studies?
I have never been a lover for school, so I won't lie to you and say yes. But
you don't really enjoy it. You have to do it, so you do it.
Well, in a law degree,
yes,
what you're actually learning is a substantive law. So you're learning all of the information, all of the cases.
Yes.
It is when you go to Norman Manley that you actually learn the practical aspect of it in terms of how you present yourself in court, how you do claim forms, how you do injunctions.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just trying to work my way through.
But you said you like advocacy.
Advocacy.
Is there a hint of a politician in the future?
Well, a lot of people have been edging me to going to politics. A lot of people have been saying that they see me there. And I think at some point in the future, I would be entering representational politics.
Why?
Well, if I do, I would start at the council level, the parish council level, because being a citizen of Montego Bay, I think that the city of Montego Bay does not look very beautiful as it is now. You have both ends of the parish looking very lovely, and then you have the capital not looking so lovely. So I'd like to impact on that. And then going into the national government level, I would like to become the Speaker of the House, because I don't believe that a lot of the parliamentarians are conducting themselves in a manner that Jamaicans should emulate.
Yes. You want to be the Speaker of the House?
Yes.
Only to make sure that they behave well?
I think if there is more order, and if the politicians or the members of parliament behave better and take their job that much more serious, more can be done in terms of fulfilling what is on the legislative agenda for the year.
Valdemar, let me begin with you in terms of some of the big issues of the time. And I think Ivan gave me a good segue. Let us begin there. The state of governance and politics in Jamaica. What are we doing right in that regard? Or what are we doing wrong in that regard?
Well, what we're doing right is, unlike other countries, if you are opposed to some things that are happening, you can say it without fear of the government seeking you out or imprisoning you for explaining your views.
Freedom of expression.
Right. What we're doing wrong, we're doing so many things wrong that we may need a separate program just to look at that.
Oh dear.
Right. But overall...
Start with one.
All right. We can start with representation. What does representation really mean? As a student president coming up the line, I found that governance in this country, we have a serious problem with the term governance. If I'm governing you, then I really believe that a part of governing you is you telling me what I'm doing right or wrong. at the MP level, I don't know that there are that many constituencies who sit down with their members of parliament and say, when you go to Garden House, these are our concerns. Bring our concerns to Garden House, lobby on our behalf, and then let us get some results. What I normally see is a campaign. I see two colors, predominantly two colors. Then I see Garden House, and then I see two more colors. And I don't hear, I am from St. Catherine, I am from Trelawney. My people have this problem. And it is not just about jobs only. Jobs are important, but people have other problems. For example, light, road, water. I couldn't tell when last I heard some parliamentarian get up and say, hey, I know that we're debating these issues from a JLP or a PNP standpoint, but my people need this. And how are we going to be able to set up a mechanism that allows our parliamentarians to come up and represent their particular constituencies? Because when election coming up, and I'm one of those persons, when it's election time, I get very excited. And I go out and I listen and I read and I watch, because I want to hear exactly what the MPs are telling their constituencies to let those members of their constituencies vote for them. And I'm one person.
Well, don't you think to solve that problem, we have to look at the structure of the politics? For example, they come to you on behalf of the PNP or the JLP to win a particular constituency. They never come to really to represent you. They come to represent the party.
Right.
Isn't that the structural part of the structural problem we have?
And the structural problem may not change in 10 years. But how can we improve the current structure to meet our needs? Very simple.
After the break, we'll pick up on that. This is Impact. Stay with us.
The preceding segment of Impact is brought to you by...
Open your door to home ownership with NCB Mortgage. Visit us online or at your nearest NCB branch to learn more today. Conditions apply. Your key. Your home. Your accomplishment. Open the door to home ownership with a mortgage from NCB. NCB, we do mortgages.
Home and Things have the things to beautify your home.
That's right. Your bedroom, your living room, your bathroom, and your kitchen too.
Because at Home and Things, that's just what we do.
So whether you're building or refurbishing, Home and Things has everything to beautify your home or office.
At the best prices, guaranteed.
Home and Things for quality.
Home and Things for price.
Home and Things for variety and everything nice.
Home and Things, Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road. For brands you know, brands you can trust. At the lowest prices,
guaranteed.
Visit Spencer's Tailoring for suits ready to wear same-day service. They offer alteration and other tailoring needs same-day service. Remember, dressing is more than an impression, so buy your suits today at Spencer's Tailoring. In Kingston, shop number 19 to 21A Central Plaza. Telephone 929-6024. Mandeville, shop number 3 Willowgate Plaza, 962-0013. And Caribou St. Anne, telephone 974-0750. Spencer's Tailoring, the difference is class.
Jamaica Insurance Company Limited, a member of AIG Property Casualty, is a leading general insurance company in Jamaica. Our philosophy is to provide quality service through innovative products and fair and speedy claim settlement. Through our dedicated and professional employees, we handle all classes of commercial property, liability, personal accident, travel insurance, personal property including disaster mortgage, professional risks such as directors and officers' liabilities, and other unique products. Visit us at the Towers, 25 Dominica Drive, New Kingston. Chartis Jamaica. Your world insured.
Welcome back to Impact. We're talking with 4 young people, all of whom were born after 1982, 27, 26, 20, 21. They're all pursuing higher education or have completed higher education. We have with us Sherry Perrier, final year student of Banking and Finance at UWI. We also have the Guild Vice President of Student Services and Special Projects at UWI, Gareth Robotham. We have final year law student at the University of Technology, Ivan Godfrey, and economic and statistical analyst at UTech, Valdemar Wallace. Before we took the break, Valdemar, you were making the point that the structure of the politics is such now that MPs are not responsive to their constituents' needs because they're more loyal to the party line.
Right. And
how do we improve that? How do we change that?
Right. In 10 years, I mean, I would love for us to probably examine other political frameworks for our country, but in the current situation, it will not happen in, say, 10 years. So what can we do in the current situation? And as I was saying, I am one person, but I am one vote. You need my vote to win. There is no way you can come to me and says, my party loves the poor, so vote for me. Or my party did this 15 years ago, so vote for me. I need you to tell me what, as a member of parliament, you did over the last 4-5 years in this constituency, because we realize that unemployment is trending in the wrong direction. However, if at the constituency level, unemployment is trending in that same wrong direction, it means that while you were my MP at this particular level, you didn't really do much. The potholes have multiplied, and we have seen potholes multiplying. We have seen many things happening. So what we need the people to do now is to say to persons, give us a progress report. Give us a report. Why should we vote you back for 5 years if this is what you did over the last 5 years? Let people have a say. At the youth level, there are two main political branches, the G2K, PNPYO. I think they need to stop and recognize that they are the voices of our generation. And if it is that they're the voice of our generation, then your voice cannot be just to accentuate whatever it is that your party says. You need to come out and say, hey, you're saying this, but our generation, we have a different view on it. And this is what the generation is saying. It happened before. I saw Damian Crawford. It was in Clarendon. Yeah, right, Clarendon. There was a particular party decision about not to contest a particular seat. Damian Crawford get up and said, as PNPYO, we believe in democracy, and you can't just say you're not going to contest the seat simply because we don't have any money. So that's not democracy.
Let me hear Sherry Perry on this, the state of politics and governance. For example, are you impressed with the leadership of the Prime Minister?
Well, I am not particularly impressed with the leadership of the Prime Minister. However, the Prime Minister herself as a leader is not the only person who should be held accountable for the leadership of the country.
So let's widen it. What about her cabinet, her government's performance?
Her cabinet in itself. Firstly, the structure of Parliament overall and the cabinet, I believe maybe the structure should somewhat be modeled similar to a business model. You know, where persons, the representatives, they would probably submit their resumes, show us their experiences, show us what they can bring to the table. What would make some of these MPs qualified to represent us as the people? What would make someone qualified to be the Minister of Agriculture? Does he have experience in agriculture? Many of the persons that we see who are representing us in these specific areas, what exactly do they have to bring to the table? So if they do not have anything to bring to the table at the initial stages, why exactly should we have high expectations of them? Mm-hmm. And similarly, the Prime Minister herself, she has a role to play. However, the team in itself, the team as a business model, in a business model setting, the team, each person has their specific role to play. So if it is...
Has she been playing her role?
I don't think she has been playing her role effectively as a leader. Maybe delegation is lacking, and also management. Management is a very integral role for any leader.
Let me go around the table. That question, in terms of her role as Prime Minister, Gareth, has she been discharging that role effectively?
I believe the Prime Minister has been... I believe she has a role to play, right? But at the end of the day, it's the cabinet, right? And I believe that...
But she's a chairman of the cabinet.
Yes, she is. She is.
She's a leader of the cabinet.
Yes, she is. And I believe...
People voted PNP primarily because it was Portia who was leading it.
Exactly. So she has a role to play. How she delegates her role may be questioned, right? Because we...
No, but I want to hear your thinking. You have seen her now.
Yes.
2 years in the office. Has she been doing that job of Prime Minister and Chairman of the Cabinet in a way that impresses you?
No, no.
Where is she lacking?
I believe she's lacking in communicating the policies to the people of Jamaica. Whereas if it's finance, you don't, as a leader of the cabinet, you don't only allow Dr. Peter Phillips to tell the people about finance. They want to hear from their Prime Minister. I want her to encompass all the portfolios as it relates to giving information to the public, in putting a face to the information, to the policy, say, okay, I'm your Prime Minister, this is what's going to happen. It may be bitter medicine, but it has to be done based on the long-term goals of the country. I see her allowing her ministers to take the front on all the projects and so forth. The 360 megawatt project, I would like to hear from the Prime Minister about that, not from just the minister of that era, right?
Yeah.
So I believe in that area she's very lacking.
What about you, Ivan? Has she been doing a good job as Prime Minister?
When she assumed office, I had very high expectations of her as a Prime Minister, and I do not think that she has met my expectations or the expectations of the wider public. She is, a lot of people are enamored by her. She seems to genuinely want to do good by and for the people. However, I don't think she is meeting the yardstick that a lot of us have for her.
What about you, Valdemir? What's your assessment of the PM?
Well, there's one thing when you're not talking, but you're working. But if I'm not knowing, then I'll give you a bad grade. At this moment, it's hard to say that she's doing a good job, because by saying that means that whatever she's doing now, I'm okay with it, and if it continues for the next 4 years, then it would please me. I don't know that there are many Jamaicans who would agree with that. And like my colleague said, you need the Prime Minister to set the direction of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaican people, this is what is happening. This is what we're going to do. Let us all hold hands together. I love the poor, but I'm not going to keep you poor. We may not all be rich, but we don't all have to be poor. So let's get out of this together. What I see is a Dr. Peter Phillips struggling hard to explain what is going wrong from what is going right and how we're going to get there. I see a Dr. Omar Davis struggling with the transportation portfolio in how he communicates what we're going to fix, what we're going to do right. And I see the Prime Minister come out and said, if you want to know what's happening, go and ask one of them. I don't see the Prime Minister coming and said, all right, this is it. Ask me all the questions. Let us all have a frank discussion. I couldn't tell when last I saw an interview with the Prime Minister since she became Prime Minister.
No, if we could go to the cabinet then. Of the ministers, it's a 16, 17 member cabinet. Of the ministers, who are the ones that you think are doing an impressive job?
I'd like to first start by saying the cabinet is too large. And my friend Sion reminded me that when Bruce Golding was Prime Minister and Mrs. Simpson Miller was opposition leader, she said that it was a break front.
Yes.
And I think her cabinet is actually now larger than the break front. So it's also too than a break front. I think that some of the ministries that are there could have been amalgamated to create a smaller cabinet, which would, even though it wouldn't add back more money to the budget or to the country's finances, it would still send a message to the country that we are in austerity times, and I am trying to work within that framework. Currently, I think there are 4 ministers in the office of the Prime Minister. There is a minister without portfolio. There's a minister without portfolio for responsibility for sports. There's a minister without portfolio for information. And then there is a minister for, culture and youth and culture.
No, she's separate. She's not in the
office. I know. As in, I'm saying that some of these could have been put together. I think we don't need a minister for sports alone.
Yes.
Ivan, I have a different opinion. And this was the opinion I shared when the JLP they were in power. This is my position on the matter. Jamaica, we're not in normal times. These are serious times. These are, as some of my colleagues say, desperate times. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. Now, if it is that you need a 18, 19 member cabinet to get us out of the problem that we're in, and every single person has a specific role, and they will fulfill their role to move the country forward, I don't have a problem with it.
It's the results you want.
Similar to when we had 3 ministers of finance. Yeah. If we need 3 ministers of finance to fix our financial problem, which we're still in, right, we get 3 ministers of finance
So let
and
me
fix
ask
the
you,
problem.
Sherry, who in there in the cabinet you are impressed with?
I cannot say any individual.
Oh my God.
I'm not really impressed overall. I beg to differ with your point. I'm not really seeing results. So to say that we need an 18-member cabinet to deliver results, personally, I'm not really seeing results from that. I understand the point that if we have 20 persons, as long as the 20